When was Revelation written? A lot of people have been wondering this, so I thought I'd go through it quickly with you to show you when the book of Revelation was written according to the text, so we can better understand the scripture. So we're going to be looking at Revelation 17:10. It says, "There are 7 kings, 5 have fallen, 1 is, the other has not yet come, and he will remain a short little while." So Revelation was written during the 6th king. Who is number 6? That's the question. Well, let's find out. Starting from the very first ruler of Rome, the father of Rome, that had a very good relationship with the Jews, was Julius Caesar. After that, we have Augustus, Tiberius, Caligula, Claudius, and ruler number 6 is Nero. And you can even see Galba reigned for a short little while after Nero as well. And also, a point I really want us to not miss is the previous verse, verse 9. It says that it calls for wisdom to understand. He's not trying to just outright say who it is, because he wants the Jews to use wisdom, because if a Roman official got a hold of the letters and saw what he was saying about it, then there might be an issue. So he's kind of speaking in code so that doesn't happen. And what he says is the 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman is seated. And these are the 7 kings he's just talked about. But the woman, who is the woman? Well, a few verses before, the woman was drunk with the blood of the saints, the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And if you read before, it also is talking about priestly garb the woman was wearing as well, Jewish priestly garb, because the woman is apostate Israel. Israel were the ones that were killing the saints. They were the ones that were drunk with the blood of the martyrs. If we look at even who one of the first martyrs was in the new covenant, well, it was Stephen. And who was he stoned by? The Jewish leaders. And Paul was amongst them. He was one of the people that stoned Stephen. And many other times, Jesus constantly says that the blood of Abel to Zechariah are on the Jews of that generation that he was speaking to. They were the ones that constantly killed all the Old Testament prophets and even the New Testament saints. They were the ones that were persecuting the Christians. Rome didn't really start persecuting the Christians until much later. So what this is saying, it's saying the apostate Jews, the Jews that were persecuting the Christians, were in an unholy relationship with Rome at the time. And the specific Roman emperor of that time is Nero, as I have already said. You may be thinking, well, then why do people constantly date the book of Revelation around 90 AD, well after the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD? Well, the main way they get to this is actually not through scripture. The main way they get to this is through Irenaeus, one of the early church fathers. He actually says that this is more referring to the reign of Domitian, and this is when Domitian reigned. But I want to say that I think it's odd that people would rather rely on some church father, not saying he's a bad person, but they would rather rely on an outside extra biblical source for identifying what Revelation says, rather than just interpreting the text for yourself. I mean, sure, you could say history in and of itself is an extra biblical source, and the facts could be wrong. Maybe all the dates are completely wrong. Sure, that's a possibility. But what's more likely, that all these dates of when people reigned was completely off, or that history is actually correct in dating generally when these emperors ruled, and it's Irenaeus that just was misinterpreting what the scriptures actually were saying and applied it to his own day, like we as Christians very often do. We love applying the scripture to ourselves instead of saying, what did it mean to its original audience? That's all I'm going to go into for now, so I hope you guys found this helpful, and if you did, make sure to like and subscribe, follow, whatever, and let me know what you guys think in the comments as well. I'd love to hear if you've never heard this before, or if you've heard it already and you're convinced or you don't buy it. My whole aim is to look at Scripture and let Scripture interpret itself, rather than us trying to apply the Scripture to ourselves in a way that rips it out of its context. Thanks for watching. God bless.